Hello everyone, I am Zain Al Sumagaysay and to be followed by other reporters. We will tackle the Unit 8 which is the grading and reporting system. Now, I will tackle the functions of grading and reporting system. The first function is enhancing students' learning through clarifying instructional objectives for them, showing students' strengths and weaknesses, providing information on personal social development, enhancing students' motivation, and indicating where teaching might be modified. Second function is reports to parents or guardians. Grading and reporting systems also inform parents and guardians of students on the progress of their works. Likewise, grades and reports communicate objectives to parents so they can help promote learning and likewise communicate how well objectives were met so parents can have a better plan. The last one function is administrative and guidance uses. The administrative and guidance purpose of grading and reporting consists in three. First is helping to decide promotion, graduation, honors, and athletic eligibility. Second is reporting achievements to other schools or to employers. And three, providing input for realistic educational, vocational, and personal counseling. In practice, they find a number of ways in which grades are made and reported. Normally, the type of grading used depends on the extract to which more descriptive and informative summaries are required by school authorities or by the stakeholders in general. The major types of grading marketing found in practice. First is the traditional letter grade system. In the traditional letter grade system, students' performances are summarized by means of letter. The A stands for excellent, C stands for average, D stands for needing improvement, and F stands as a failure. The traditional letter grade system is easy to understand, but it is limited value when used as a sole report because they end up being a combination of achievement, effort, work habits, and behavior. Also, they are difficult to interpret and they do not indicate patterns of strengths and weaknesses. The second is pass-fail. It utilizes the dichotomous grade system. Either a student has complied and reached certain standards, in which case he passes or he failed to do so, and he gets a failing mark. This is popular in some courses in college. And in fact, the pass-fail system should be kept to a minimum because it does not provide much information since students tend to work to the minimum just to pass. And in the mastery learning courses, no grades are reflected until mastery threshold is reached. The third is checklist of objectives. In this system, the objectives of the course are enumerated. After each objective, the student's level of achievement is indicated: outstanding, very good, good, fair, or poor. This is very detailed reporting systems and tends to be more informative for the parents and pupils at the same time. Fourth, letters to parents or guardians. Letters to parents and guardians are useful supplement to grades. However, they have limited value as sole report because they are very time consuming to prepare. The accounts of weakness are often misinterpreted by parents and guardians, and they are characterized neither as systematic nor cumulative. The fifth is the portfolios. A portfolio is a set of purposefully selected works with commentary by student and teacher. Portfolio are useful for showing students' strengths and weaknesses, illustrating a range of students' work, showing progress over time or stages of a project, and teaching students about objectives or standards they are to meet. And the last one is parent-teacher conferences. Parents-teacher conferences are mainly used in elementary schools. This requires that parents of pupils come for a conference with the teacher to discuss the pupil's progress. Portfolios, when available, are a useful basis for discussion. Such conferences are useful for a two-way flow of information and getting more information and cooperation from the parents. They are, however, of limited value as a report because most parents do not come for such conferences.
Development of a grading and reporting system. Grading is used to evaluate and provide feedback on student work. In this way, instructors communicate to students how they need more help to achieve the course's goals. The purpose of reporting system is to communicate the students' achievements to families and post-secondary institutions. This system must, above all, communicate clear or areas where they need more support or practice. Grading and reporting system should be developed cooperatively. Parent, students, school personnel, in order to ensure development of more adequate system and a system that is understandable, they should thus be. First, we have based on clear statement of learning objectives. The grading and reporting system needs to be based on the same set of learning objectives that the parents, teachers, and students agreed at the beginning. Second, consistent with school standards, the same must support the school standards rather than oppose the school standards already set. Third, based on adequate assessment, the grading and reporting system should be easily variable through adequate systems of testing measurements and assessment methods. And lastly, provide for parent-teacher conferences as needed.
Assigning letter grades and grades. Grades assigned to students must include only achievement. It is very important to avoid the temptation to include effort for less able student because it is difficult to assess effort or potential and it's difficult to distinguish ability for achievement. So, also called letter grades are symbols used to present a range of grades. For example, A could be used to represent grades of 80% and above. B to represent grades between 70 and 80%. So C to represent grades between 50 and 70 and so on. Grades reflected on report cards are numbers and numerical quantities arrived after several data on students' performance are combined. The following guidelines might be considered in combining such data. First, properly weight each component to create a composite. The weights are usually normally agreed upon by school official. Second, example, how many percent does the for quizzes, unit test, periodic test, and etc. The more scientific approach is to use a principal components analyze, which is hardly practiced in school because of the difficulty involved. And lastly, put all components on same scales to weight properly. These are the steps for computing grades. First, get a total score for each component. Second, divide the total row score by the highest possible score. Then multiply the quotient by 100%. Next, convert percentage score to weight score. Add the weight score of each component. And lastly, transmute the initial weight using the transmutation table.
Hi, hello, this is Learn Today with Mom A. Today we will learn about norm or the criterion referenced grading. What is norm or criterion referenced grading? Grades may reflect relative performance. Example, score compared to other students where you rank is more commonly called a norm referenced grading system. In such system, grade like a class rank depends on what group you are in, not just your own performance. Typical grades may be shifted up or down depending on your group's ability. This system is also widely used because much classroom testing is norm referenced. Grades may also reflect absolute performance. Example, score compared to specified performance standards or what you can do is more commonly called a criterion referenced grading system. In such system, grades does not depend on what group you are in, but only on your own performance compared to a set of performance standards. Grading is a complex task because grades must first clearly define the domain, second, clearly define and justify the performance standards, third, be based on criterion reference assessment. Finally, grades may also reflect learning ability or improvement performance. Example score compared to a learning potential or past performance. In this system, grades are inconsistent with a standards-based system because now each child is his or her own standard. Reliably estimating learning ability separate from achievement is very difficult. One cannot reliably measure change with classroom measures, therefore should only be used as a supplement.
Distribution of grades and guidelines for effective grading. The norm reference and criterion reference distribution of grades have been in practice for several years now. The norm reference or relative distribution is a big issue because of the following consideration. First, normal curve is defensible only when we have a large or unselected group. Second, when grading in the curve, school staff should set fair ranges of grades for different groups and courses. Third, when grading on the curve, any pass-fail decision should be based on an absolute standard. Example, failed the minimum essentials. Fourth, standards and ranges should be understood and followed by all teachers. On the other hand, the criterion reference or absolute grading system is not an issue because, first, it seldom uses letter grades alone. Second, it often includes checklists of what have been mastered. Third, the distribution of the grade is not predetermined. Guidelines for effective grading. The following guidelines for effective grading and reporting are recommended for use in Philippine schools. First, describe grading procedures to students at beginning of instruction. Second, clarify that course grade will be based on achievement only. Third, explain how other factors like effort, work, habits, etc. will be reported. Fourth, relate grading procedures to intended learning outcomes. Fifth, obtain valid evidence like tests for assigning grades. Sixth, prevent cheating. Seventh, return and review all test results as soon as possible. Eighth, properly weigh the various types of achievements included in the grade. 9. Do not lower an achievement grade for tardiness, weak effort, or misbehavior. Last, be fair, avoid bias. When in doubt, review the evidence. If still in doubt, give the higher grade.
Good day, everyone. I am Maria Debbie Silosta, and today I will be discussing to you the conducting parent-teacher conferences. But first, let me ask you, what do you think is the importance of conducting a parent-teacher conferences? Some of you might say to share academic progress of students or discuss issues that may be interfering with students' learning and growth. Alright, so all of your answers are correct. So in conducting a parent-teacher conferences can boost family involvement in classroom and help promote positive outcomes for teacher, for students, and also for school. Okay, parent-teacher conferences become productive when they are carefully planned and teacher is skilled in handling conferences. So in conducting parent-teacher conferences, we need to consider the effectiveness of how we will having a conference with the parent. It states that it would be productive if the teacher is prepared or carefully planned and have the skilled in handling conferences, so that there is a good communication or interaction between the parent and the teacher. Skills in conducting parent-teacher conferences can be developed. So here are some hints in conducting good conferences. As you can see, we have here the guidelines for a good conference. So first, we have make plans. So if you are planning in conducting a parent-teacher conferences, you need to review your goals, to organize the information you wanted to present to the parent, and you have the list of points to cover and questions to ask. And also, if portfolios are brought, select and review it carefully. So next, we have start a positive and maintain a positive focus when you are conducting a parent-teacher conferences. So all you need to do is present students' strong points first. And also, you have to be helpful and have the example or work to show strength and needs of the students. And you have also to compare early versus later work to show improvement. So that is how you maintain a positive focus with the parent. Another guidelines for a good conference is to encourage parents to participate and to share information. So as a teacher, you will be a listener, or you have the willingness to listen with regards of their queries, and also be willing to answer their questions. Next is plans actions cooperatively. Like, what steps can you take? Or all of you have discussed, you have to summarize it at the end of the conference. And the last but not the least guidelines for a good conference is you need to impose it to yourself that you need to use a good human relation skills with the parents during the conference. So that's it for my report. So I have been discussed how to conduct a parent-teacher conferences, and also I explained the guidelines for a good conferences.